stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Sorry. All right. I gotta put this here. No. There we go. Okay. Hi. We'll get to it, I promise, after I'm done chuckling at myself. Okay, sounds good. That just I was literally putting an I am live when you said that to me, and I'm still laughing about it. I've got to share this real quick. Hold on, make it shareable, please. All right. So we're going to be in step 2. Yeah, I've been getting stuff done this week. It's nice. Getting stuff on our plate. It just so happened it was like right then. It was just perfect timing. It's Gad. It's always Gad. Okay, sounds good. I won't. I'll do what I can to not tempt you to speak or to have to type. I'm just going to cover step 2 in the 12 by 12 real quick. Nothing big. I'm just sitting here wasting time, talking, thinking. I might do the smoking, drinking. I love that song though. I'm a big Kid Rock fan. So I'm a big Kid Rock fan. I like him. He's in recovery now though, so a lot of that stuff he talks about isn't really. If not, he should be. He probably should be in recovery. We do not like to announce anyone as an alcoholic, but you can find out for yourself. Just step to the nearest ballroom and try some more controlled drinking. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion, and I have How It Works memorized, just to brag a little bit. Just a little bit. If you're here, please say hello. One day I'll come on here. I might have the guts to try it. All right. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching a live or the rewatch. Hi, Ingrid. Glad you were able to make it. And because there's some people I send directly to that I'm live and stuff. Do not ever feel guilty for not making it. Just, yeah. So, no worries. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. All right. But yeah, my wife got in a car crash a couple years ago. Took forever to get the car done thing. But then some guy that was woohoo, you'll read it from memory. Sweet. I found that people that have other mental disabilities, like dyslexia, we memorize things. We get real good at memorizing things. A lot of actors are dyslexic. Yeah. Love it. See, I don't intentionally memorize it. It's just something I do. It's something I do. And I've heard how it works so many freaking times that I can't help but have it memorized. It's kind of like the AA preamble. I have it memorized. But yeah. Whoop whoop. We have talents. We are a talented people. But anyway, he's like, is it because the insurance company took too long? He's like, well, we're gonna sue for this too. And he's kind of been sue happy, but You ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing that. And then I found out like a month ago that was somebody from Frank Azar. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why. Well, we haven't heard from him in 2 months, so I'm gonna be calling him today. I'm gonna light a fire under his ass. Enough screwing around. What I've been doing is actually just taking all the hard things off my wife's plate. That has been my goal lately. Like the shopping, getting the Medicaid taken care of, some of the bills. So that way when she gets home, she can relax. All right. Step 2, came to believe. So I came to, and then I came to believe. That is step 0, 1, and 2. When we say that, the psychic changes. I came. Step 1 is I came to, which means you kind of woke up, and then I came to believe. Now, this might be a process for you, but step 2 is really about trying to find your own higher power, your a God of your understanding, because your understanding may be different than my understanding. Your perception of this crazy, crazy world is different than mine. You've been through different experiences, right? Um, yeah, I do it all the time. When I'm the chairperson, I sometimes confuse the past meeting scripts after I get through the part that's pretty much universal. Yeah, it changes a little bit, like when AA announcements are done. When the serenity prayers, there's a lot of times serenity prayer isn't done until after, um, first, second, third meeting stuff. So, as long the way I see it, as long as it gets done, right? So, the moment they read step 2, most AA newcomers are confronted with a dilemma, sometimes a serious one. This process of finding your higher power is convoluted with a lot of other bullshit that's been provided to you. And I don't know about you, I grew up Mormon, and my parents didn't go, and I didn't take it seriously. I was like, well, if they're not here, I'm just gonna screw around. I never, and I didn't even listen in school. I mean, I did, and I didn't listen. I wasn't listening to them. I was too busy daydreaming and things like that. So I don't remember much of it. I've never read the Bible, but I love my higher power, and I'm a very, very spiritual person. And it's been real neat for me lately because a good friend of mine, Pastor Marcia, like I'll say something, she's like, Dion, that's directly from the Bible. It's right here. I'm like, no way. No way. It's kind of cool to know that I didn't read, but yet I can still follow that path. All right. How often have we heard them cry, look what you people have done to us. Look what we did to you. Yeah, no, no, you're not distracting at all, Ingrid. We never stay on topic here, ever. It just doesn't happen. It wouldn't be entertaining enough if we didn't. So, no, I love that you guys throw stuff in. See, we have a symbiote, the three of us, especially, we have a symbiosis going. A lot of people don't see it. They try and jump in, but it's going to take a little time. We have a symbiosis, the three of us. And when it's three of us here, it's different because you're different. See, I'm an emotional vampire. I only go based off what I'm feeling from the people that are watching, and I can feel you, right? I'll take a guess. I will. I might be wrong. Ingrid, you were having one of your better days today. I can feel it. I can feel some serenity come from you. Amber, I kind of know what's going on, so it's not hard. Okay. But a sense of relief is what I'm feeling from Amber at the present moment. Yeah. I might be wrong, but I'm not. Look what you have done to us. You have convinced us that we're alcoholic and that our lives are unmanageable. We convinced you. Gift of desperation, baby. I didn't do that to you. Okay. Having reduced us to a state of absolute helplessness, you now declare that none but a higher power can remove our obsession. Some of us won't believe in God, others can't. And others still who do believe in God exists have no faith whatsoever, He will perform this miracle. Yes, you've got us over the barrel, all right. But where do we go from here? I know. I said, and I know what's going on with her. I clarified it. I clarified it first that I knew what was going on. So, but see, it's just empathy because people are like, "Are you psychic?" I'm like, "No." Yay! Oh yeah, there you go. Woohoo! Fucking bonzaroo. That'll be fun. It's the little kid's mutton chop night, right? So Colorado. All right. Now I never had a problem. God was not a problem for me. I've never been atheist. I've never been agnostic. Well, maybe I was maybe a little atheist, meaning I didn't know or understand, but that's as far as it went. I never really had, I mean, I had resentments towards God because I had to put him on my 4 step and work through that, right? But um, it's not very often in my life that I've gotten a rebellion so sickening that I didn't want him in my life or her or it or they, right? You know, let's look at the case of the one who says he won't believe, the belligerent one. He's in a state, he is in a state of mind which can only be described as savage. His whole philosophy of life, in which he is so glorified, is threatened. It is bad enough, he thinks, to admit alcoholism down for keeps, but now, still smarting from the admission, he is faced with something really impossible. How does how does he cherish the thought that man, risen so majestically from a single cell of primordial ooze, is the spearhead of evolution, and therefore the only God this his universe knows? Must he renounce it all this to save himself? No, no. See, I think a lot of us did believe in something bigger than us, maybe not God, but we alcoholics are rebellious people. There's some like I'll give you a what you would call an example. Rush, the band Rush. I hated Rush for a long time. Why? Because everybody I grew up loved Rush, and I just wanted to be unique. I didn't have anything against the band. And not all my life. When I got into my 20s, I realized, why do I hate Rush? Is it because I just wanted to be different? I'm like, yeah, that's what it was, because they're a great band. Kind of silly, right? Doesn't it sound like me not being open-minded enough to something that I would actually appreciate? Same thing with a higher power, in my view. So at this junction, his AA sponsor usually laughs. This the newcomer thinks this is just about the last straw. Yeah, why are you laughing at me? This is the beginning. It's just about the last straw. This is the beginning of the end, and so it is. The beginning of the end of his old life and the beginning of his emergence into the new one. Now, here was my thing. I didn't want to be reborn. That's where I got caught. That didn't have to do necessarily with God, but it felt very uncomfortable that I was to rely on somebody else or something else, even though I know that was right, because everything else had failed me. My parents left me. Nobody wanted to be around me. Society had just deemed me hopeless, and they were satisfied with me just dying on the streets. The government was, sure it was. You know, I'm a product of the system. I was in juvie. I didn't do anything illegal running away, but running away wasn't illegal back then. Here we go. I eventually got to the point where I could put my faith in the program I saw working for so many others. That was enough for a psychic shift for me. Yeah. Um, and I've heard it before. I don't remember it, but it says in the big book that the wording for step 3, the wording, of course, was optional. And Ingrid wrote her own third step that she utilizes, but it works for her. What a great way to do that, because it is a trust problem, isn't it? It is a trust thing for us. Thank you for bringing that up. And that's exactly what I was talking. So yeah. So maybe I can't trust this and trust that. Maybe I can't even trust the people in AA, but I could trust the program. I could trust the process because it was bringing results to other people and I could see that. So that would help. His sponsor probably says, take it easy. The hoop you have to jump through is a lot wider than you think. At least I found it so. So did a friend of mine who was a once-time vice president of the American Atheist Society, but he got through with room to spare. I'm gonna make fun of it a little bit. Because the sponsor usually says, and I'm sorry, but I'm not friends with any one-time vice president of the American Atheist Society, so don't use that. But the hoop that you have to jump through is pretty wide, unless you decide it is not. This is it's hard to hear, but this is as hard as we make it. Okay. Now, what does it say at the end of the spiritual experience? That the only thing that will keep you out is belligerent denial against all spiritual concepts. All spiritual concepts. I know a lot of people that use nature, love, karma. Karma is one of them. Sure. Right. Well, says the newcomer, I know you're telling me the truth. Right. It's no doubt a fact that AA is full of people who once believed just as I do, but just how in these circumstances does a fellow take it easy? That's what I want to know. Okay? And Ingrid just brought this up. She just said this. Right? That the room is full of people who once believed as I do, but now they do believe. So we can trust that process. That agrees the sponsor is a very good question indeed. I think I can tell you exactly how to relax. You won't have to work out very hard either. Listen, if you will, to these first three statements. Hold on. I'll be back. I broke a wheel on my chair, and now every now and then I go, whoa, whoa. Sorry, I'm used to being off balance. I was drunk most of my life, so I'm used to. All right, listen, if you will, to these three statements. First, Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't demand that you believe anything. All of its 12 steps are but suggestions. And we know why. Because we're, we don't like to, people in general don't like being told what to do. But even put nicely to an alcoholic, we really don't want you to tell us what the fuck to do. We will get angry. Not only that, but I would use it as an excuse to continue my behavior and tell me what to do like you fucking know any better. And then I would just pick you apart. And that's really easy for us to do. I know it's so much easier for me to take somebody else's inventory rather than mine to this day. Still true, right? So you don't have to believe in anything. It's quite often I hear people in meetings saying, I don't believe in God. Right? I've heard it, and you'll continue hearing it, and they're allowed to have that. But when they start harping on God and saying, then I get a little. I'm not going to say anything. They have every right to say what it is that they're going to say. They really do. Second, to get sober and stay sober, you don't have to swallow all of step 2 right now. You don't have to do step 2 perfectly. No, you do not. Not a requirement. There's no requirement. There's only a 100% step, and that's step 1. That's it. The other ones are continued for a lifetime. Yeah. No. You know, if you don't want to pray, try once a week. Try once a week. If it's working okay, then go to 2 times a week. You know, you don't have to do it all at once. Remember that key of willingness. It doesn't come up in this step, but that key of willingness, you know, it's a big deal, man. You know, I utilize willingness for everything, everything. Any action I make, there is a process of awareness, acceptance, open mindedness, some willingness, some honesty before I even take the step. It may happen in a matter of seconds in my head, but it is the process of which I use for everything that I do. Even coming on here, I'm going to return a package here shortly. And there we go. You know, there's a process to that. Yeah. See, and that's true of all of us, right? See, we're not different, but we're different. Isn't it cool? It's probably that guy's phone number. Oh no, we got a podcast tomorrow. But at this point, I don't know if they want to stay anonymous or not, so I'm not going to say the name. But some of you know who know them. I'm pretty sure that they are. But looking back, I found I took it piecemeal myself. Third, and I think this is probably the most important one, all you really need is a truly open mind. You don't have to believe in what I believe in. No. You don't have to believe in what anybody else believes in the program. There's as many different higher powers as there are people in the program. Every single higher power and the concept, you know, I may agree to a certain point, but there might be other things for me, right? A good example on that is I believe that God gives me more than I can handle because it is the only way I reach out to his children. For some people, they're it is that God does not give them more than they can handle. And either way is true. Both ways are true. Absolutely. Because it is the experience, right? That's why, you know, that's why it's okay to have a different experience in meetings. It's quite often here somebody will bring up a different experience. And I do my best to support it. Sometimes I get a little pissy. I do. I just admit it. Fuck. Right. So all you need is a really truly open mind. Just resign from the debating society and quit bothering yourself with such deep questions as whether it was the hen or the egg that came first. Again, all you need is an open mind. That's it. I just need to be open minded to a new concept. Okay. Okay. Like Amber says, God, which she stole from someone, they stole it from someone, because I know she likes to give credit to her sponsor on this, and I want to make sure he has it too. Okay. It's a universal word like shirt. Okay. She's much better at this than me. Okay. But I like this example because everyone can understand it. And shirts come in different ways. There's flannels and blouses, there's short sleeve, there's long sleeve, there's crop tops. That's about as far as I can go on it. All right. Her list is better than mine, though. But the concept is there. It's a universal word. I call God God, so you know what I'm talking about. It is the only reason I call them God. The only reason. Because what did I do? Well, I sacrificed my thought process of wanting to be terminally unique and I joined the broad highway. Broad. What does that mean? It means everybody gets it in their own way. In their own way. That's why a higher power of your understanding, that line of your understanding is extremely important. Okay. The big HP, high, even if you say higher power into me, we know what you're saying, right? And some people prefer that. Great. Camisa. Oh, is that a different kind of shirt? Probably is, and I don't know. A good chance of that. I'm sure it is. The sponsor continues, take, for example, my own case. I had scientific schooling. I have scientific schooling, but I love science, man. I do. La blusa. Oh, you're just saying it in Spanish. Okay. For my own case, I had said, naturally, I respected, venerated, even worship science. As a matter of fact, I still do, except the worship part. Time after time, my instructors held up to me the basic principle of all scientific progress: search and research again and again, always with an open mind, right? Yeah, I mean, shirt is so universal that it translates into other languages, just like God. When I first looked at AA, my reaction was just like yours. This AA business I thought is totally unscientific. This I can't swallow. I simply won't consider such nonsense. Guess what? God is very much scientific, I think. Okay? I listen to a lot of Neil deGrasse. He's a cool guy, and I just like the way he presents things, right? And he talks about, um, okay, so that, and of course he's a scientist, so he's much better at this. Um, Dios, that I knew. Mia Dios. Just put an N on that. Just put an N on that. Actually, Dion is a Greek god and is actually a female Greek god of love, Dionysius. Um, but he talks about these different ways. The one that really caught me is like the one I can remember. We'll say that if gravity was just a little bit off, and of course he uses the correct scientific term, we wouldn't be here. If the sun rotated differently in any way, the Earth, the moon, or the rest of the planets moved slightly different in any way, we would not be here. It had to be perfect, or we wouldn't be here. The animals wouldn't be here. We don't. This would be just another planet floating in space, man. There we go. All right. I'm going to do one more paragraph and then I'm going to wrap up because I have to meet with a fellow closed mouth friend. I'm trying to get away from the sponsor-sponsy thing. Then I woke up. I had to admit that AA showed results, prodigious results. And here we're back to trusting the process again. I saw that my attitude regarding these things had been anything but scientific, right? Because what is science? It's, that will do it better than me. The minute I stopped, okay, it wasn't scientific. It wasn't AA that had the closed mind. It was me. When we can reach that point, yay. Cool. I'll see you a little bit later. Have a good day, Ingrid. I love you. All right. The minute I stopped arguing, remember in the big book, it says we have stopped fighting. We've got to stop fighting everything and everyone, including ourselves. Okay. I will argue with myself about these things. Okay. And I had to stop arguing and I had to take the cotton out of my freaking ears and shove it in my mouth and become open-minded to another process. A process I could see working in other people who had gone further down the scale than I had. And that brought a certain amount of relief. The minute I stopped arguing, I could begin to see and feel. Right there, step 2, gently and very gradually began to infiltrate my life. See, gently and gradually, the spiritual experience, sudden upheavals, or the educational variety. And right here, okay, slowly infiltrated. Okay, because what are we doing? Well, we're building trust. My higher power's love language is trust. The more I trust my higher power, the better life seems to get. That seems to be the process, and it's worked very, very well for me for the last 8 years. Okay. but I'm still willing and open to change. I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe in a power greater than myself, but I certainly have that feeling belief now. To acquire it, I only had to stop fighting and practice the rest of AA's program as enthusiastically as I can. Now, enthusiastically in this case does not necessarily mean cheerleading, yay, blah, blah, blah. No, enthusiastically means something like fearless and thorough. Okay, in this case, their enthusiastic is the action. That's it. But action with a good attitude. That doesn't mean you have to be on cloud nine. It doesn't mean you have to be on the pink cloud in order to do it. In fact, some people, the pink cloud doesn't happen. When I came back, okay, you only have one pink cloud. The other is kind of excitement, but the pink cloud is a shift and change. And it happened to me before. So when it happened again, it was not a pink cloud because it was not something new. Because you can only experience something new once. You can't experience it twice. Unless you have dementia. Then you can experience it a lot. All right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. It's always good to see my friends 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I love you. I love you. Peace out. And make sure